I believe that the price of CRO is looking phenomenal. And now, some people might say, oh, what do you mean by that? Don't you know that the price of CRO is below 8 cents? And I get that, but I actually think CRO being this low in price is an amazing thing because the way I view it is that I want to buy when the prices are low. I don't want to buy when the prices are sky high. It's much like dating, in my opinion. When you want to date someone, you don't want to date someone who's been with the Pookies, the Ray Rays, the Tyrones. You want to get in early, right? You want to date her before she's been with those guys. And it's much like CRO, in my opinion. I want to be early to the party, so to speak. I want to buy when the price of CRO is below 10 cents. I don't want to buy CRO when it's popping off. And I think one of the best things to ever happen to the price of CRO is the FTX crash. And now, some people may view that as a bad thing, but I actually think it's very good for CRO because if the FTX crash didn't happen, the price of CRO would most likely be above 10 cents. But because of the FTX crash, I am now able to buy much more CRO than what I could have before. And this right here brings me to my point as to how you never really know whether or not something is good or bad when it happens. And let me explain what I mean by this. For example, when FTX went down, a lot of people, they panic sold their CRO. The price of CRO went down, and initially it seemed like a bad thing. However, I think as time went on, I think a lot of people started to realize that, hey, the price of CRO is actually sitting at a major discount. So it could be argued that in actuality, the FTX crash was a good thing for CRO. It's much like in real life. Let's say someone starts dating a girl, the girl dumps him, he may cry, he may weep, he may be depressed. But then let's say as time goes on, the guy later finds out that the ex-girlfriend, now has an OnlyFans account. At that point, the guy will then be relieved, right? Like, oh, it's actually a good thing that the girlfriend dumped him because, now he doesn't have to deal with that mess. He dodged the bullet there, right? He didn't have to date someone who now has an OnlyFans account. So in reality, actually getting dumped by that girlfriend was actually one of the best things to ever happen to the guy. Much like in the case of CRO, the FTX crash was actually an amazing thing because now the price of CRO is below 10 cents. And I also think it's important to understand that great things take time and patience. For example, if you take a look at the Cronos chain, yes, the Cronos chain is very big right now. It has nearly 70 million on-chain transactions, over 1 million unique wallet addresses, and it's also a top 10 chain in terms of TVL on DeFi. The Cronos chain is very big right now, but in my opinion, it can be even bigger in the future. So when people like to complain about the size of the Cronos chain, I think it's important to understand that the Cronos mainnet isn't even 2 years old. For a blockchain to truly gain momentum, it's going to take time and it's going to take years to do so. And so will Cronos. It's going to take time for it to truly be massive, but when it does, it's going to shock a lot of people. However, we just have to be patient. It's just a matter of time. And when it comes to Crypto.com, the exchange, I want to remind everyone just how much it has grown in such a relatively short amount of time. For example, if you take a look back in February of 2021, Crypto.com only had around 10 million users. However, you fast forward 2 years later, Crypto.com now has over 80 million. So in 2 years, Crypto.com was able to gain 70 million users, and that's very impressive right there. It's so crazy to think about how Crypto.com was able to gain 70 million users in such a short amount of time. And also on top of that, Crypto.com for 2 years in a row has generated over $1 billion in revenue. You take a look at in 2021, Crypto.com generated over $1 billion, and also last year, it generated over $1 billion yet again. Crypto.com is doing very well. A lot of people, they like to say, oh, Crypto.com, it's doing bad. Oh man, the bear market has affected them very badly. But it actually hasn't. They are doing absolutely extraordinary. And now I want to shift gears real quick and talk about the leadership of Crypto.com. And when Crypto.com first launched in 2016, they actually didn't launch as Crypto.com. They launched as Monaco. And after 2 years of being launched, they did a major rebranding. They purchased the Crypto.com domain name, and they just changed their whole company to Crypto.com. And I think this right here is a true testament to the management team of Crypto.com, and more specifically, Chris Marszalek, because when he first launched Monaco, fundamentally speaking, it was nowhere near as good as it is today. Monaco, it didn't have good advertising, and a lot of people didn't care about Monaco. And I think Chris Marszalek and his team probably started to realize that, hey, what we're doing right now isn't really working out, so we got to change the way we do our business. And I think that is why we saw the total rebranding of Monaco and have it become Crypto.com. And ever since they did the rebranding, they became very aggressive with their advertising. In August of 2020, they hired Stephen Kalifowitz as the chief marketing officer of Crypto.com. And Stephen Kalifowitz really turned Crypto.com into an advertising powerhouse. After Stephen Kalifowitz became involved, that's when we saw Crypto.com Arena, the UFC sponsorship, Fortune Favors the Brave with Matt Damon, and much more. Stephen really changed the way Crypto.com did their advertising. And I think hiring a guy like Stephen Kalifowitz in the first place truly speaks to the level of IQ that Chris Marszalek has. Because I think that Chris understands that in order for people to start using Crypto.com, they first need to know what it is. People won't use something if they don't know it even exists in the first place. And that is why I think advertising is so crucial. And that is why I think hiring Stephen is such a genius move, because Chris understands that in order for people to want to use Crypto.com, they first need to know what it is. And without advertising, that's simply not possible. And I think that is why they went out and hired such a marketing genius like Stephen Kalifowitz. And what I really love about Crypto.com was how they were committed to their journey, but they were flexible in their approach. And what I mean by that is how when Chris Marszalek first started off with Monaco, he of course wanted to create a premier crypto exchange. However, I think he realized that if he kept doing what he was doing with Monaco, he simply wouldn't be able to reach the goals that he intended in the first place. And what did he do? He pivoted, he changed his strategy, and he changed his approach. And that's why I believe that Chris Marszalek is such an amazing CEO. He is willing to change his strategy, willing to adapt to the times, and willing to change his approach. And that's why I believe Crypto.com will be around for a very long time. They have a CEO who's always willing to adapt. And now I have some important news to talk about when it comes to Crypto.com users, especially in the UK and in Europe. And if we take a look at this right here, Crypto.com currently is scrambling to calm customers after Lithuania banking crackdown. And this issue, by the way, again, right, like I mentioned before, is mostly affecting European and United Kingdom Crypto.com users. And basically what happened was that the Bank of Lithuania ordered a local payment processor called Transactive Systems to cease providing services for existing clients whose activities are related to virtual currencies. And the reason why they did this is because they are suspecting some people of doing some money laundering through digital currencies, and that is why they wanted Transactive Systems to stop providing services for existing clients who are focused on virtual currencies, for example, crypto-related companies. And the issue in all of this is that Transactive Systems is actually the payment processing company for Crypto.com. So when Transactive Systems stopped its operation, so to speak, Crypto.com did not have a payment processing company to use. And as a result, a lot of Crypto.com customers had their euro deposits and withdrawals temporarily disabled. So this is not an issue that is caused by Crypto.com directly. It was just that the company that was responsible for processing their payments are the ones that are having issues. And this, as a result, affected Crypto.com in a bad way. However, this update was apparently not made aware to all Crypto.com customers. And as a result, a lot of users have had their funds stuck, so to speak. And for the people who do have their funds stuck, their funds aren't actually lost forever because it technically is still with the Bank of Lithuania. It's just temporarily frozen, so to speak, because again, right, Transactive Systems had to stop their payment processing for virtual currency related companies. And it should be noted that Crypto.com is trying to solve this issue as soon as possible. They have said that they are looking for a new payment processing provider, and it is estimated that it's going to take around 72 hours for this to happen. However, Crypto.com was able to restart some transactions through a Malta-based company called 4stacks, and this issue, by the way, could have also explained Binance's issues with the euro and the British pound just last week. So this problem right here is not only affecting just Crypto.com, Binance was also affected as well last week. And I actually just received an email, by the way, how I can't deposit euros into my Crypto.com Euro Fiat wallet. So I think it's best for anyone out there to not deposit or withdraw their Euro Fiat wallet on Crypto.com as of right now. And also for the people out there in the UK, some people have been saying that there has been issues with this as well in terms of transacting with the British pound. So yeah, for anyone out there, just be aware that withdrawing or depositing euros and even potentially British pounds on the Crypto.com Fiat wallet may have issues as of right now. So I would stay away from that for the time being. And of course, that is not financial advice. But again, right, transacting with the euro and the British pound as of right now on the Crypto.com Fiat wallet may cause funds to potentially get stuck. So just be aware that I personally would wait for this issue to be resolved before I deposit any euros or British pounds into my Crypto.com fiat wallet. However, Crypto.com did say that people will still have the option to buy and sell crypto using euro and deposit/withdraw cryptos. So this issue seems to be just surrounding the euro fiat wallet. It doesn't seem to be an issue in terms of buying and selling using the euro. It is just an issue that is surrounding the fiat wallet. And also again, right, I've heard that this issue is also happening to the British pound on the Crypto.com fiat wallet. So just again, right, be aware of that. But quick disclaimer, this is just from what I understand. Make sure to do your own research before moving forward with any transaction on Crypto.com. All I know is that as of right now, there is a potential issue in terms of depositing and withdrawing from the euro and British pound fiat wallet. Crypto.com is trying to solve this issue as we speak, so hopefully everyone gets this issue resolved very, very soon. So yeah, again, right, UK and European Crypto.com users, just be aware of this. And if you are living in the UK or in Europe, make sure to comment down below if this issue has affected you. Hopefully not, but if it has, I'm curious to know how you're dealing with this as of right now. And Crypto.com, they have a great track record in terms of solving issues, so I have great confidence that they will solve this as soon as possible. And by the way, make sure to check out this video as to why I believe CRO has 48x potential. It's an amazing video, and I think you all would love it, so go ahead and check it out. It's amazing.